Well, I'll go again. I'm Bill Russell, president of Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, and I have James Smith with My Outdoor Joy on today. And James, it's a real pleasure having you. And you were our speaker just a couple of weeks ago at our diversity program, and you shared a little bit about yourself. But for those who don't know you, what is My Outdoor Joy?
My Outdoor Joy is an outdoor education and event company, and we focus on teaching people that have moderate to no outdoor skills how to get out into nature. So we go from hiking all the way up to potentially skydiving for those who want to be more adventurous. But we do it in such a safe manner. We start everything off in a classroom, and then people can opt into whatever activity they like to do.
James, how did you get into this?
So I've been doing this probably on the better part of 30 years as a skilled outdoorsman. That being said, I only turned 25 last week. So I try to hide it. And so what's happened over the last few years, I've been volunteering with various organizations in the Carolinas on teaching people how to get outside, from camping to hiking. And on a hike recently, well, I should say recently, 2 years ago, one of my best friends said, "Why are you not doing this for a living? You have clearly found what your passion is." And so at some point, 2 years later, I decided he was actually right. And so I went about the task of starting an outdoor company, and we've now been open to a really awesome, audience of people who have signed up immediately. So for me, this is something I've always been doing. I've always been teaching. Now I'm letting my skills hit the outdoor world and all the people in the county to come out and play with me.
So mostly team building is what I would assume this is is team building.
Well, it is team building if we want to use adult terms,
Okay.
but the real term is it's outdoor recess. So for more people than not, the reality is when you look at the outdoor world, when you look at people participating, whether it's hiking or kayaking, everything out there assumes you already know how to do it. Well, during the pandemic, everybody said go outside, and most people said outside and do what? They had no outdoor skills. They didn't know how to go hiking. They certainly weren't going into the woods by themselves. They weren't going to camp because they didn't want to make those investments. So one of the things we focused on was look at all the new people that want to learn things. And so for us, what we did is we set up all kind of training classes that were just a massive hit. And as we've evolved this last year, we've gotten to the point where we now even offer equipment for members so that they don't have to make a huge investment in getting outside and participating. So it has just been an awesome experience this last few months.
James, what is your service area? I mean, what do you cover?
So you've got to look at the company kind of very twofold. As an organization, the vast majority of our members are going to be Mecklenburg County, the upstate of South Carolina, in various counties, Gaston County, Concord. And so when we do our classes, they typically are going to be in those places because that's going to be central to the members, which is why we always want everybody's zip code because we can direct the classes based on the zip codes. Now, when we do events, we can go all over the place. And based on how many people want to do it, we could go anywhere from Asheville to Myrtle Beach. We can go, Linville Gorge to do our events, but because we focus on the beginners, most of our events are going to be within 20 miles of Charlotte, 25 miles of Charlotte. As people progress, we kind of go a little further. I love to say this, we have a trip to Tanzania, Africa next year, which is about as far away you can get. And to my surprise, we filled up both trips. They are actually sold out, and people are going to go on safari. And these are adventurous people. Now, we're not going to really be hiking and doing those things. We'll do a little bit of it. But what we found is that people want to get out. They want to explore. So for us, one of the things we are clearly making sure that we're doing is presenting the opportunities that people have desired for quite some time.
So you are out there for an individual, or you could be there for an organization or business.
Correct. So our standard is we have classes that are going to teach, the baseline to get people outside. We then follow those classes up with events. Now, our events are all custom, which is really what distinguishes us from everyone else. We're not doing events with the presumption that you know how to do everything.
Mhm.
All of our events are done based on the skill level of the people participating.
I see.
So if you're a first time camper, I don't want to put you in a campsite with, Bear Grylls, who goes out and, makes a fire out of two stones. If we do a camp out, we're likely to even have a food truck on the first night. We just want to get you into the environment, and we want to dispel a lot of the rumors. Every time we go camping, there's always bathrooms, multiple bathrooms. We're probably going to have a food truck. We're
Now,
making this as simple as possible.
I think you shared at the diversity meeting that you actually did a trip to like Kilimanjaro, right?
Yes. So 2 years ago, I took a group of people to Kilimanjaro. And what is so exciting about this is the fact that 2 years previously, no one had even walked on the Greenway. Not only were they inexperienced, they were less than zero. They were on the -4 scale. We had to get them to zero. And then once we got them there, the trip to Kilimanjaro was absolutely amazing. They summited. And these are people that we're sending something out next week that says, one of the testimonials, where she actually says, I had never even walked on the Greenway 2 years previous to going to Kilimanjaro.
Now, I think if and I don't mean to tell any stories on you, but I think you got a little bit lightheaded on the climb up, did you not?
Yes. For those who don't know, Kilimanjaro is the highest freestanding mountain on the planet. It's a little bit more than 19,600 feet. And so you are subject to altitude sickness. So I'm bringing the group of newbies with me. Now, I'm not alone in this tour. We have 50 people that support the trek up because it takes 7 days. Well, when I got to about 18,000 feet, my brain decided to say that I was in the Bahamas. So I did something that most people would not imagine. At -3 or 4 degrees, I decided to take all my clothes off. So can you imagine my newbies going with me saying, okay, if he's having a problem, we're gonna have some issues here. But we all got through it. Obviously, we're here to talk about it. But it was absolutely an exciting experience.
I hope no frostbite.
A little, but not in those places.
James, what is it you enjoy most about your job?
uh, Currently, I love teaching people.
Yeah.
The reality is this: to see adults in a lot of cases getting out, doing things for the first time ever, it's an amazing experience. For many of the participants, they've always been hesitant because there's no place for them to go and do what we're doing. There's no one. I don't care what the store is. I don't care what the organization is. You go out to meet up and they say, hey, we're going on a hiking trip or we're going kayaking. Well, if you don't know it, you're not going. So to open up the world, to open up nature to people who have always dreamed about doing certain activities and letting them learn it and getting better at it it doesn't get much better than that. And then they grow with us because as they grow, we can do more experienced trips, but we are focused on the newbies, the people that have some experience, but not a lot. And going from there, it's an unbelievable experience to see somebody participating.
And I think you really just answered the question I'm going to ask, but why should somebody call James Smith with My Outdoor Joy for their next adventure?
Well, this is really kind of simple. There aren't a lot of people like us out there in the marketplace. We can look at so many things. We had to think about this.
Mm-hmm.
What would differentiate us? And here's what we really came to believe and to understand truly based on our members. One, safety. Number one. all of our teachers, our instructors, they are all experts in the field, as opposed to going online and joining, a meetup group and trying to figure out who's actually leading this. Do they know what they're doing? We've seen tragedies throughout the Carolinas in the last few years. Right. People lost off trail. No one knows how to get to them. They don't know what to do. So we bring safety into the equation. The other thing that differentiates us more so than anything else, we're focused on people who are new. We're not putting you in a group where you're uncomfortable because you feel like you don't know anything. Well, with us, everybody in the group is new. That is a huge differentiator. And one of the things we've also realized is there are barriers to entry. If we want to do a camp out, or we want to go kayaking, if you don't have that equipment, what we do is we provide the equipment for you. Mm-hmm. So not only do you have expert instructors, we've kind of reduced some of the financial barriers and provide some of the equipment. And that really sets us apart. And we've created a sense of community that is not only open to the participants, but to their family and friends. And we welcome everybody to come to these events. Do it with a friend, do it with a spouse, do it with a kid. But one of the things we've often found in this last year, 90% of our events are attended by women. Right. 90%. If you had said that to me 2 years ago, I would think you were crazy. But most of the women who join the event say, well, my husband doesn't want to do it. My significant other doesn't want to do it. So I'm coming out here by myself and I'm bringing my friend with me. And that's another unique environment that we never intended to deal with. But, even using the example of Kilimanjaro, of the 11 people that went, 9 of the 11 were women.
Yeah.
And that's the new outdoor world.
I'm not going to say I'm surprised by that, though. I'm seeing that more and more play out. James, we want to thank you for spending time to talk about My Outdoor Joy. I want to thank you for, again, being a speaker at the last diversity program and sharing some of your experiences. I was laughing, you telling your stories about some of the things that you've been on. You're a very interesting guy, been involved in the Chamber of Commerce for about a year. Thank you. Thank you for sharing it. Any last comments about why somebody should take advantage of this, whether or not it was with you or somebody else?
Well, here's the bottom line with being out in nature. Every study, if you go out to our website, we have a page dedicated to health. Every study says that in America today, the vast majority of people do not spend 15 minutes outside on a regular basis intentionally. Walking to your car does not count. But intentionally, because that's where we're seeing health benefits. And the one thing that I've always stressed for people is get outside. Don't be intimidated by what you don't know or what you don't think about your own physicality. I am not twiggy by any step of the imagination. And so people are shocked to see how active I am. So what I do is I invite people to come out, have fun, give us a call, send us an email, because likely I'm going to see every communication. If you have questions, give us a call, send us an email, because we want to see people come out. And because we're local, there's no reason not to enjoy the outdoors.
Well, James, you named your business well, My Outdoor Joy, because every time I've ever seen you, you have such a smile on your face. You're so joyful in your heart. And so I can tell just by talking to you, you really, really enjoy what you do.
I do. It's unusual. You're in Mecklenburg County, and I don't say I'm a banking and financial service or something else. Come out and have adult recess with us. Have some fun.
Well, we thank you for sharing today. We also want to thank Joe Vagnone. He's a local business broker, and he's the presenting sponsor of Around the Lake. He makes this possible. So thank you very much, Joe Vagnone, but thank you very much, James, for being on today and sharing about My Outdoor Joy.
You are welcome anytime.
Have a great week.
Thank you very much. You too. Bye-bye.